changed. The tank champions are back in. Certainly not good news for Peanut. May mean Blank gets more starts. It will be a bit of a new start. The meta will shift. May work against Callistas and bring in other hyper carries to the bot lane. Maybe that's what they need, Achilles, because on 7-13, they have now played their final game. They are 0-4 on this patch.
Still just, begs the question, if they couldn't get caught up with this meta, will they be able to adapt to 7-14 as well?
I mean, Peanut is struggling the most. It's the Cinderhulk meta. It hasn't been around since 2015 as a jungle enchant, and that was when he struggled for the first time on Najin, wasn't fitting the meta. 2016, it wasn't about the Cinderhulk. 2017 hasn't been about it. Now we're getting tanks out of the jungle, and that's never been Peanut's happy place.
Yeah. Well, taking a look at the damage yet again, it's BDD coming out on top with Khan not too far behind there with that Camille. Did get fast-tracked very swiftly with those initial 2 kills coming through. So just wreaking havoc across the board as Longzhu were able to take down SK Telecom yet again.
And a Karma pick once was great with the Kog'Maw, Karma, Lulu, Kog'Maw. A lot of obvious synergy there, but they started off with the Elise. They thought they'd get pressure to allow these champions to get to late game. It didn't happen, and Gorilla, first career game on the Blitzcrank at the 442nd time of asking. Looked pretty good. Wasn't necessarily the biggest star of this game, but the amount of pressure Blitzcrank exerts when you win the early game, which is what happened here. Flash from level 1. That was the start of the downward ascent. Of descent, I should say, for SKT.
I mean, and that was just a bit of a...
Take me under your wing, crack of thunder, as a wild bird sing. A sonic echo that leaves no room for doubt. All the shots bring it back to what it's now. As the world comes tears in our hands, are we all part of a bigger plan?
Today's matchup. Longzhu Gaming. SK Telecom, T1. Samsung. BBQ Olivers. 2017 League of Legends Champions Korea Summer Split.
Good evening, OGN Legion, and welcome to another day of LCK. I'm Achilles, back on the cast after a bit of a hiatus there, ended up in China. But alongside me is the ever lovely Papa Smithy, and we are ready to dive into one hell of a series. The bloodiest game that we have had so far in the summer split was Longzhu versus SKT the first time they clashed, and now we get to see it again.
But I personally am happy that your watch is over, Achilles, that you can be back here to join us for what is a sick day of matches. Even our second match of the day, Samsung versus BBQ. BBQ on the ascent, Samsung looking to firm themselves in top spot should be a sick one, but you can't look past the first one. Like you say, the first time these two teams met, it was already an unbelievable series. Before we had the telecom war, we had SKT versus Longzhu. SKT over the line on that day after some Fiora hijinks coming through from Khan and one of his big career-making plays. Now we get to see them play, but such a different time given the struggles of SK Telecom on a 7-game losing streak if you include the Rift Rivals game, looking down and out, but you have to feel like it's for a certain amount of time. You have to feel like there's an inevitable rise coming, but all our old expectations about SKT, the more series you lose 2-0, the less you feel like they apply.
Well, now I'm back casting LCK, so maybe there's a direct correlation. If I'm not present, then SKT fail. We'll have to see.
We thought that with Doa, and that didn't happen.
True. That's very true. Yeah. But here we go. SKT now finding themselves around that 4th place spot just with +7, whereas Longzhu looking at perhaps to move over into that second place spot here above KT Rolster. If they can come up with a victory here today, it was very close last time. Again, bloodiest game that we've had so far in the summer split. 48 kills in 55 minutes.
I mean, it was a sick one, honestly. The first time these two teams met, that was kind of the confirmation that Longzhu weren't just going to be flat track bullies that could beat the lower teams. They could actually tussle with the big teams. And now, honestly, they're basically one of the big teams. They are beating almost all challengers. Even with SK Telecom in poor form, they are still SK Telecom. Their roster is still loaded with talent. Clearly, they have problems. We'll talk about them as we get over this time because, honestly, it's the big